discuss the course called Computer Organization, that is 18 CS 34. It comprises 5 modules. Going to discuss this introduction part in a multiple part way. Let's assume this is a part 1, like that part 2 may be there. The textbooks which you mentioned in the curriculum by university, the Karl Hemachar et al., that is a one book which is going to be cover major portion of this course. Secondly, that is William Starlingson, Computer Organization and Architecture. That is also additional book which covers some of the topics, right? So apart from this, there are some reference books also available. I'm not mentioned here, right? So this entire course is split into 5 modules. That first module is going to be concentrate on introduction of the computer organization, basic organization, that is a functional units at block level, right? And after discussing evolution of the computer, that Van Neumann model or the other model like store program concept, and the discuss about the bus connected I/O devices and little bit about the memory and bus structure. You may be aware about the definition of the computer, so maybe several definitions are there. So one basic definition, it is an electronic machine, computer, used to store, organize and find the words which you may be interested via numbers and pictures, or for doing calculation and control other machines also. On the other hand, also can say this electronic machine can be able to accept the digital inputs, process the digital input and list it of internally stored information, and produce the result which could going to be observed by the real world, right? Or who are interested to look up to this. So after seeing this word called computer organization, so definitely it will be have the analogous word called architecture. So there is a lot of difference between this computer architecture and organization, because the university is going to be ask you to study one more course called computer architecture in the subsequent semester, right? Of course. So let me see that what is the architecture of the definition, right? So that architecture, it is a attributes of the system visible to programmer, that is which are clearly visible to the programmer, so that direct impact on the logical execution of the program, right? So what about organization? It refers to the operational units and their interconnections that realize that architectural specification. See what architecture propose, that the dreams of the architecture will be make into reality, so that is operational element. Coming to the architecture, examples are instruction set, right? For example, you might be 8085 have 72 instructions, a number of bits per various data types, right? So the computers may be word length of the computer may be 16 bit, 32 bit, 64 bit, so on. That will be varies from architecture to architecture. Whereas organization deals about the interfaces, memory use, what type of memory and what is the amount of memory, how the memory is organized, right? So what are the I/O devices, what are the I/O channels they are referred, so how they are used, right? So all those the implementation. So the issues are related to the architectural issues in architecture, organizational issue in the organization of computer. See for example, whether to have a multiple instruction or not, right? So we need a multiple instruction, ready-made instruction. If so, then how can organize, whether to include a multiple unit or go for repeated addition, right? So the lump sum instruction may be possible, so that can be decided by the architects, right? How to implement that is the issue of the organization. Architectures you might be heard several, 8085, 8086, several Pentium machines are there. So IBM 360, PDP-11, PDP-8, Cray XY machine, right? Several such organizations. The difference may be appreciate maybe quite difficult to appreciate this difference in a small machines, maybe laptop and desktop machines and so on. That it can be very clearly discriminate or observe in the very high end machines like supercomputers, maybe PDP-11 or our own Indian design, the Param 1000 computer. So like that, there we can observe the clarity of this architecture and organization. So what about this course? This course will be tells us what computers consist, right? What computers consist. So how computer works. So how they are organized, right? Internally. What are the design trade-offs, right? Design trade-offs. So maybe the PDP-11 have different design, and IBM 360 have different design. Param 1000 have entirely different system. How design affects programming and applications. So these are the issues we are going to be notice here in this course. Not maybe how to fix the computer, how to build myself one real chip, right? So which one to buy, right? So knowing all about the core of i3, i5, i7, so on that. So that may be a salesman or attributes, or one who want to sell their product, or they will always customize, or they will be make it maybe globalize, or maybe they will polish their features, and they will always interested to boost their sales. What the commercial aspects they want to highlight in front of the customer, that they will do. So that will not going to cover in this course, right? So coming to the how this evolution happening, right? So there is a different evolutions, first generation to fourth generation. So the two phases will be there. So that this entire 4 and other generation will be split into before VLSI and after VLSI, right? So VLSI 1945 to 1978, that is a very large scale integration, right? So several lakhs together gates will be there in a single chip. Several lakhs together gates will be there. So that is a ENI IAC and IH machine, IBM machine, PDP-11 machine. So VLSI starts from 1978 till today. That is a microprocessor, microcontroller, and various other machines. So the first generation, that is a program and data reside in the same memory. Program and data stayed in the same memory. That is called stored program concept, or von Neumann concept, or we can also call it as the instructions and data are stored in the same memory. So that stored program concept very popular, which will be based on that various computers have designed that, right? So the ALP, that is assembly language program, was made used to write programs for this von Neumann concepts or stored program computers. The vacuum tubes were used to implement the functions of arithmetic classification control design, that's of CPU, right? The magnetic core and magnetic tape storage devices are used. Of course, they might be have a less capacity, and the accessibility may be limited. So using electronic vacuum tubes as a switching component, right? So switching, we can synchronize the or establish the communication with one unit to other unit, or memory to IO to control unit, so on. That is, so that switching mechanism will be established with electronic vacuum tubes. So coming to the advanced version, that is second version, that may be 1955 onwards. So there is a transistors were used to design a ALU and control unit, right? So transistors. So there is a high level language is used to, for example, Fortran, maybe Pascal, COBOL, some of the programming language, high level language they are used. To convert this high level to machine level language, compiler were used, that is. So that compilers are constructed or designed. That separate IO processor were developed to separate in a parallel with the CPU, thus improving the performance of the computer, right? So invention of the transistor, which was faster and smaller and required to considerably less power to operate. So that was a improvement compared to the first generation. So the what is called transistors, so that replace the diodes and so on, that is. So the third generation, which is IC technology, integrated circuits, right? So rather than having transistors, we have a integrated circuits that it's going to be accommodate the several gates. That is, improved IC technology helped in designing low cost, high speed processor and memory models are going to be multi-programming pipeline concepts were incorporated. That is a concurrent mechanism or parallel mechanism. So it is compared to the sequential, so that more advanced one they are incorporated maybe with help of the some of the softwares. So disk operating system allowed efficient and in coordinate operation of the computer system with multiple users. So earlier that may be very the complex operating system may be Unix and so on. That is, so disk operating, that is a more user friendly operating systems. So cache and virtual memory concepts were developed. That is, so we'll going to be discuss in detail in the subsequent chapter that cache is the small amount of memory which is sit between the CPU and main memory, right? So there is some intermediate results we can because every time if you want to go to the main memory, then it is maybe costlier. So the several machine cycles we are going to spend, that CPU can wait for that so long. So otherwise it will be hamper on the hamper on the performance system. That's why cache will be sitting between the main memory and CPU. It will act as a mediator. So virtual memory, that is the small amount of memory we have that. So instead of having a small amount of memory, we can create some virtuality over that. So that can be used improve the performance of the system. So that also we are going to discuss in detail in the subsequent chapter. So more than one circuit can single silicon chip become available. That is, so coming to the fourth generation, so that is a CPU termed as a microprocessor, right? So in the previous case we have seen that central processing unit, that control unit and arithmetic unit. So those combined formed as a CPU. So now it is going to be entire the component will be put it into the basket called microprocessor, right? So microprocessor might be heard that Intel 8085, 8086, so on, that several CPUs are there. There may be some Intel, Motorola, Texas and National Instrument, Semiconductor started developing microprocessors. The workstations, microprocessors, so notebooks, computers were developed. That is, so during that time, so interconnection of different computers with help of the network for better communication, local area network, the metropolitan area network and wide area networks. So we have a computational speeds increased by 1000 times because of this various improvement over hardware as well as the software. Specialized process like digital signal processing processor were also developed. That is, the very specified the looking up to that VGA card, maybe some image processing things. So there is a different processors, DSP chips are manufactured are developed. So that's they are doing some the additional work for the computer. So the part of the work will be outsourced to them, that will be performed and it will be handed over the result to the main computer. So that was a major remarkable the improvement in the fourth generation. After the fourth generation, after 1985, of course that Intel made a revolutionary. The several Intel chips have been released. That is, so we have a e-commerce, e-banking, home office, and there is a ARM microcontroller, AMD, Hepathlon, Intel, Motorola systems. There is high speed processor in terms of gigahertz speeds, right? So earlier maybe megahertz machines or kilohertz machines were there. Maybe first generation kilohertz, second generation kilohertz, and third, fourth onwards maybe talk about megahertz machine. Now fourth generation onwards of course the processor speed is gigahertz machines. So because of this submicron IC technology, lot of added features in a small size. That is we have seen that VLSI, maybe VVLSI, maybe SVLSI, super very large scale interval, maybe several lakhs together, several crores together gates will be sandwiched in the single chip. So of course that computer can be the type of computers based on their cost, what is the computational power. So what type of applications that the system is going to be handle or solve, provide a solution. what is the speed of the processor. As we said that the kilohertz, megahertz machine, now gigahertz processors are there. So and also word length of the machines will be gone increasing. The computers are available which can going to be handled the 128 bits of word length, and the more than that. So obviously cost will be the appreciable. So there is a type of computers we can see that the desktop computers. So it's how visual display and maybe the bigger screen, right? So there is audio units will be there, right? So storage media hard disk will be there. So the personal computer is used in home office, and this is a multi-purpose. It is one. So we can say that it is suitable for education, business purpose. So notebook, right? So notebook, it is a very compact version. For that there is a Intel separate processor, microprocessor are there. A compact form of personal computer, that is, it is a portable and less power consumption. So workstation, the more the scientific applications we can solve with help of the workstations. So used to solve the complex problem which is arise in engineering applications. So the graphics related animations and 3D printing and so on, that is. So enterprise system mainframe, the more computational power will be here, that is. So large capacity of storage. So used for business data processing in a large organization, commonly referred as servers or supercomputers. So supercomputers are almost you can see that most of the complex applications today, maybe weather forecasting, maybe pharmaceutical applications, maybe vehicle, the aircraft, the NASA laboratory, and various complex the satellite launching systems, and all those will be. You might be heard that we have very near to a place, that is a Hassan master control facility. So they are looking after the health of the satellite via through this enterprise or mainframe systems. So the server system support to large volumes of data which frequently need to be accessed. Support the most of the cloud computing and various today's the technologies available. The supercomputers. So as I said, our Indian supercomputer, the Param 1000, designed by CDAC, which is situated at Pune for satellite launching for under the guidance of Vikram Sarabhai, right? So that is a Cray XY. Various supercomputers you might be heard, that is, right? So faster than mainframe, helping calculating large scale of numerical and algorithms calculation in short span of time, right? So used for aircraft design and testing, so military applications, weather forecasting, and various other the nuclear reactor monitoring, right? Where that system the human can go and observe. There is a such the remote computation can be possible with help of these supercomputers. And the today's world will be ruled by this most of the small device called personal device digital assistant. So that maybe you might be heard the IISc Bangalore invented what is called Simputer. So that is one kind of PDA, personal computer. So they designed for some agriculture applications. So that was successful. The computer that fits into a pocket runs on a batteries, and it is used while holding that unit in your hand, right? So typically used as an appointment book, right? Address book, calculator, notepad, so on. That can be synchronized with the personal microcomputer as a backup. Maybe it like a tab might be saying that. So you can observe some of the basic terminology after learning some knowledge. The basic terminology may be computer, that we have seen that it's a mechanical electromechanical device which is going to be perform some operations over the data, right? So that hardware will be there, include electronic devices. We have seen in the from evolution, so that electromechanical devices will be process the data, refers to the computer with the peripheral device. Software, the set of computer programs that tells the computer how to perform the particular task. For example, your compiler, maybe editor, maybe operating system, all those may be softwares. Again, softwares may be classified that can application software or system software, so on. We will discuss in detail in subsequent discussion. So network, there are multiple computers. You can make it involved in a system that two or more computers and other devices that are connected to. for the purpose of sharing the data and programs. So peripheral device, IO devices, we can connect some the input output. There is a, you can connect the huge screen with the help of the graphic user interface and so on. That is. So other additional basic terminology will be involved in the computer organization discussion in the entire course. That is the input. What is put into computer system? So we can input the data. Data may be the numbers or alphanumeric numbers, maybe some pictures, or maybe some signals, or some the current, or some energy also, right? So that is the input. That may be referred in terms of the data, refers to the symbols that facts, we can information. So that from the raw data we can we can construct the information. We can get some information from the computer or put it in the computer. So that will be sounds or graphics or maybe objects. So that output similarly we can go to observe on the monitor, maybe bar chart or maybe pictures or maybe some photos, right? So this process manipulation of this data may be many ways will be performed. That will we have seen that central processing unit will be performed, receive the input and process it and send an output to the real world. So memory, all those intermediate results we are going to be keep it when received or we are sending or intermediate computations hold into the memory. So different type of memory we are going to be to see that area of the computer that holds. So computer that holds the data in a permanent basis when it is not immediately needed for processing. So the temporary basis. So other terminology may be ELP, as I said, assembly language program, right? Used to write a mnemonics. So mnemonics may be move, add, move, add, divide, multiply, so on that. So instruction will be in the form of English like assembler. So assembler is a software which converts the assembly language to machine level, because that machine level can able to understand by the machine. AL assembly language may not be understand. For the user, it may be quite easy to write a program in the assembly language. So high level language, that high level language will be further improved of the assembly language, that programs are written in user English like statement, right, rather than the mnemonics. So compiler convert the high level to machine level, does this job by reading the source program line by line, and after correcting the syntax and semantics. Once it get the program, that will be going to be converted into machine level language, that is right in the zeros and ones. So one such effort by the compilation, that is called interpretation, convert the high level language to machine level language by line, right? So system software, as I told, the type of software, system software, program routine is used to write an execution of the program, assembler, compilers, editors, so on that. Operating system. So it is a collection of the routine which is responsible controlling and coordinating all the activities in the computer system. It like a government, right? It coordinates the several things in a system, that is, right? So maybe we're going to be studying in detail in the subsequent discussion. So computer system will be a hardware or software, So consisting is physical devices we have seen. So the program, software consists of the program, it has operating system and so on, that is. So after discussing some terminologies, so now we are entering to the main premises of the introduction of the computer organization. So that premises will be commence, or we are observe that as we said so far, that central processing unit. So the central processing unit will be the main core unit, as we have seen the most the part of the digital computer. Though going to be function wise, that is a input unit, right, keyboard or any device which will collect the input. So output unit may be monitor or various displays. So the central processing unit, that the combining of arithmetic logic unit and control units. So there is a memory and going to be have that data and bus structure. So in order to connect this all this input, output, CPU and memory, so we need a bus structure, right? So this is a common picture we have, maybe you have astonished that it is a very old picture. So we have memory control unit, So the adjacent to that we have arithmetic logic unit. So combining of all this we can say that central processing unit, or now today's after fourth generation, so will be available the this complete one is in form of processor or microprocessor. So this very close to the memory, and memory in between this process, and there is a input output device will be there, right? So we can observe that function, all computer functions are data processing, storage and movement and control, right? So all this data is a information. So this information going to be control, right? Coordinate how information is used, right? So these functions will be taken care in a central processing unit. So input that we have seen that several definitions so far, maybe aware about that: keyboard, mouse, joystick, etc. Output converts the binary format data to format that common man can understand. So that binary, or that will be the ABCD or ASCII code, so that will going to be converted into common man can able to understand with the help of the printer, monitor, LCD, so on that. So that is a brain of the machine, so carrying the information. So it have ALU, CU, right? So the control units provides the control signals in accordance with some timings, which is controls the execution of the process. So we can have an intermediate result, can be stored in a temporary variables, that register. So register is a small unit of data, made up of the flip-flops and these gates. So going to be accommodated some result there, and result and speed up the operation. So for example, you can see that, so suppose we want to add R1 and R2. So how it will happen in the central processing unit? So R1 is a register, right? So it is a small memory, right? So that is available at the premise of the CPU, right? So that R1, you make enable the R1 means send a signal to get ready R1, right? Similarly, get ready R2, the timing at T1 and T2. That if you observe that clock pulse that contains the several timings. So T1 at the first pulse R1, and second pulse R2 will be enabled. At the third pulse, that is T3, enable ALU for addition operation. So send a signal to the arithmetic logic unit. There are two data is arriving to your premises. So make it add them. So make it add them, because this instruction is designed for add R1, R2. That's why we can send a signal to them ALU. So add these datas, which is representing by R1 and R2. So at the after adding, it will be the result will be pushed out from that arithmetic logic unit. So at the enable output, right? So somewhere we have to make it accommodate that result into the some of the memory. So memory is not possible here. We can immediately store some of the general registers or general purpose registers like R1 and R2. So there is a one more registers we can make it, or we can store in R1 itself or R2 itself. So in that case, if you store into R2, the old value of the R2 will be erased, of course. So it will going to be hold, that will be, this is happening in the 4 clock pulse, right? So the 4 clock pulse is required to compute this addition operation. So this we can observe in a more pictorial way. So that is, we have the control unit works with a reference, a signal called processor clock, right? So processor will be always synchronous with the clocks. So there is a, you might be heard that quartz will be release some clocks. So that clocks will be going to be synchronized with this, right? So as I told that is a R1. So this entire diagram you can see that several registers are accommodated here in the CPU, and arithmetic logic unit will be there, then the output device, output registers will be there. At T1 R1 will be get ready, T2 at R2 will get ready, and those two will be entering into the premise of the CPU, as I said. So one is parallel entering, one is coming this side and other is coming this. So there are 2 ports will be there for this ALU, and after performing the addition, it is asking them to get out from this ALU after completion of the operation. At will be available at the T3. As soon as the end of the falling edge of the clock pulse, the result will be available, and pushing it to the R2. So R2 is selected the resultant register. So by the end of the 4 clock pulse, result is available R2. So each basic step is executed in one clock cycle. So entire 4 clock cycles is enough for this, right? So there is memory, store data, results, and programs. There is a type of memory we are going to see in detail in subsequent discussion. Right now that is a primary memory and secondary memory. So primary memory is very close to the CPU. It is a small amount of memory is faster. Secondary memory is a huge amount of memory, maybe it is slower, right? Two types of RAMs, that is a read-write memory and read-only memory. For read-only memory purpose, that is read-only memory used for the store the data, not going to change oftenly. Secondary storage used to bulk amount of data, that is a mass. Basic operational concept of after observing this diagram, so after we got some knowledge, right? So we have seen that blocks, we have seen the small example how it will be happen addition operation. So let we can see more general way. So the basic function of computer execute a given task as per the appropriate program. So you know that program will be contains the set of instructions, right? So as one example we see that add R1 comma R2. So such instructions are sequenced in the program. So that program will be submitted to system. Program consists of list of instructions stored in memory. So let's assume that your program will be edited. After editing that, let's say for example hello.c. So hello.c. So after editing that program, so editor will be receive that your program and it will be sent to what is called compiler, right? So after getting a zero error, compiler will be compile that instruction, the program is convert to high level language to machine level language, right? So machine level language it is a hello.obj, right? Hello.obj, that is the objective code. So after converting high level to machine code, that hello.c will become hello.obj, for example, right? So hello.obj it have instructions. So those instructions will be with help of the what is called program counter. Program counter is a register which holds the address of the current instruction, right? Hello.c, hello.obj program as we given an example. So in that case the program counter holds the address of the first instruction. So how this address will be coming? So through the memory address register, right? So the memory address register hold that program counter will send a the first instruction address to the MAR. So MAR go to the memory, and in the memory it will search that content of that address, right? So PC holds the address of the current instruction. So that address will go to the MAR. So MAR with the control signals will go to the memory. So there in the memory it will search that instruction. Once you got that instruction, so that data will be loaded onto the memory data register, right? I hope you followed. That is program counter holds the address of the current instruction. So this address will be copied to the MAR. So MAR will along with the control signal will go to the memory. So memory, there are several instructions are there. So that this MAR content of the content will be the instructions. So that instruction is going to be loaded onto the MDR, that is via data bus. So via data bus. So MAR is a address bus. It go to the memory via address bus. So after identifying that instruction, so that data or that instruction it has to send to the CPU premises via data bus. So when sending to the CPU, the first person to welcome that data is called MDR, right? Once the MDR holds that instruction, so along with this timing controls and all this, so the it will be encode that instruction to put it to the IR. What is IR? Instruction register. So this MDR will go to copy to the IR. So IR instruction register will be that will be understand the what is the format of the instruction register. The instruction register will be contains the operation code, address of the operand, so on. That is, so operation code, for example, in the previous case we have seen that add, maybe multiply, divide or move, so on. That operands are operand 1 and operand 2. Maybe in the previous case we have seen that R1 comma R2. So R1 and R2 are the operands. So those are address are represented through the registers. So what is the opcode? Opcode was a add. So like that instruction format will going to be match with this instruction register. So instruction register will tell the complete information of that what are the operands are there, what operation they are specified. So all those can be able to understand, right? So after once it is IR is there, so this IR will refer those general purpose registers which are available in the machine, and after understanding the semantics of that opcode, according to that the arithmetic logic in it will be involved. If it is a add instruction, add will be performed. If it is a subtract instruction, the subtraction will be performed, right? So if it is a load store instructions, then the load store instruction will be performed, right? So this will be performed under the guidance of the timing and control unit, and that going to be stored in a respective registers. So that going to be stored, that is. So I hope you followed the interconnection between the processor and memory, how the instructions arrive to the CPU and how they are going to be converted into data registers, and that data register going to be IR. So IR will be able to encode that instruction, and after encoding the machine will be able to understand what type of operation, what are the operands are involved, right? So those operands will be going to be make involved actively and submit the data which they containing, right? So that is the basic philosophy behind of this von Neumann concept or stored program concept or today's digital computer, right? So registers are fast stand alone storage locations that I told the previously for the data temporarily. That is a intermediate results will going to be ad hoc base, right? Multiple registers are needed to facilitate operation of the CPU. That again depends upon the architecture. Some machines they given 4 registers or 8 registers, so on that. Two the major registers called MAR, as I told, which hold the address of the operand, address of the instruction. Memory data, that it is able to receive the instructions which is coming from the memory once the MAR is identified. To handle the data transfer between the main memory and processor hold the MDR holds data. Instruction register holds the instruction that is currently being executed. As I told, as soon as the instruction has entered into the CPU premises via MDR, the first person will go to be accommodated that instruction in the instruction register. Program counter, as I told, that it holds the address of the first instruction or current instruction. So that going to be loaded into the MAR. So MAR to the go to the memory. From memory, the instruction bring out to the MDR. So MDR it available in the CPU premises. Once it is available in holds that instruction and it's sent to the IR. Once it is available in the IR, so IR start going to be encode that in order to understand what type of operations they mentioned, what are the operands they are mentioned, so on, that is right. So as that program counter to MAR, the contents of PC will be transferred. So MAR to the address bus, select the, that is address bus will be selected, particular memory will go to, that is. So issue the read control signal from control that to read this memory. So read the instruction present in the memory and loaded into the MDR. So will be placed in the IR, content that is transport to the MDR to the IR. So instruction present in a IR will be decoded by the which processor understand what operations has to be performed. That is a opcode, right? As we say in the given example, add R1 comma R2. So add is a operation, right? Increments of contents of PC. So once the one instruction completed, then the PC will be advanced automatically by 1, depends upon the word length of the machine, right? If it is a the 8-bit machine, that is 1. If it is 16-bit machine, that is by 2. It is a what we called 64-bit is by 4. So that PC will be advanced, so that it can point to the address of the next instruction going to be executed in the sequence, so that it points to the next instruction, right? So if the data required for operation is available in the register, it performs the operation. So if data is present in a memory following sequence, then that will bring, that is. So address of the data MAR address the bus, right? Select the memory location where the issued read signal, right? Reads the data via data bus MDR. The MDR data can be directly routed to the ALU, so where IR will be received that. So result of the operations can be directly towards the output device, so through the registers or some address. So normal execution will be preempted due to the interrupt. So interrupt may be power failure or division by zero or some disturbance happen for the normal execution of the program. In that case, it will be suspend that execution. Suspension means it will store all the intermediate results safely at the process control word. There is a special memory or stack memory they are going to be used. So then it will give an attention to the what type of interrupts will be raised, that is. So this interrupt will be discussed subsequent class. So I hope you followed, and thank you for your patient listening and so on the interest on sorry, I have to change that the computer organization introduction. If you have any queries, you please post that is. Thank you once again.